So today I'm going to be doing a pinky, somewhat natural look. So I'm going to start off with my brows first, and I'm going to do my brows off camera, and I'll be right back.
Heart to heart and head to head, here is everything I never said. Lay me down and I will make my bed, but I won't go away. Coming for everything you said I couldn't have, I got my own back.
I am about to prime my face because I want to do my base first and then do my eyes. So I'm going to use my Tatcha Silk Canvas Primer, and I'm going to press that all over my face. My face is already moisturized from when I washed it, so I'm just using the Tatcha Primer and mainly working that in the area where I have like pores and stuff like that, to kind of fill it in, just to fill it in just a tad bit. Yeah, so I'm going. So now that I have that primer on my face, I'm going to do a little color correcting, because as you can see I have a little dark marks on my skin, but I'm not going to use a color corrector. I'm going to use a darker concealer I'm going to use a darker concealer for that, and for that I'm going to be using the Too Faced Born This Way concealer, and the shade I'm using is Chestnut. So I'm going to use Chestnut. As you can see, Chestnut has like a little red undertone to it, so I'm just using that to color correct, because I do have discoloration around my mouth, and as you can see I had a little like dark marks. So I'm gonna let that sit for a little while before I blend it out. Why you not focused? And that same brush I used to blend out my concealer on my eyes, I'm going to use that brush to tap this out. And I'm just tapping it out. So now that I have all of that tapped out, what I'm going to do, I am going to use my powder. I'm going to use my powder and set it. And for powder today, I'm using the Fenty Beauty. Alright, so now that I did that, now I'm going to go in with my foundation. And I'm using Too Faced Born This Way concealer as foundation. And the shade I use is, I use Maple. So Maple, I'm going to place that on my face. As you can see, just like that. Maple is my color, because I did color correct, so my face looks a little darker. But Maple is my color. And before I blend that out, I'm going to set my face with some, spray my face with some setting spray. Like that, and I'm just gonna start blending out my foundation. So now that I have this all blended out, I'm going to go into my concealer. And for concealer today, I'm going to be using the e.l.f. Camo Concealer alongside my Pat McGrath concealer. And for the Pat McGrath, I am in the shade M15. And for the e.l.f. Camo Concealer, I'm using the shade Deep Olive. So I'm going to use Deep Olive here, my nose bridge, and here, and you want to move fast with this concealer because it dry down. It dry downs fast. Just like that. I know it looks a little yellow. And now I'm going to go in with that brighter concealer, and this is the Pat McGrath one, and I'm just going to use that more in the inner corner here because I want that brightness to be up here. Just a little bit on the nose as well, and here, and mixing it with this. Just like that. And I'm just going to start, now that I have that, I'm going to work on the areas that I want blend out first. So like my chin area, I want that to be blended out first. So I'm going to start blending that out because I don't want that concealer to sit there and just leave that mark right there, right on her lip. And the corner of my eyes right here. I want to blend that out. Because those areas dry fast. Forehead. So now to bronze up my face, I'm going to go into my Black Radiant foundation stick, and the shade I'm using is Espresso. And I'm going up on top of my cheekbones because that is going to give you a more lifted effect. So now I'm going to start blending that out. See how that is snatching me upwards? So now I'm gonna go into my and blend my concealer out. Alright, so now that I have that concealer blended out, and you see my face is looking, you see that brightness is right here. Now I'm going to do my nose contour, because my nose is looking a little flat, because it just looks like one color. So I'm going to bring back definition to my nose, and I'm going to start in the brow and work it downwards. And no, we're not gonna leave it like that. The brow and downwards. So now I'm gonna start blending. I know on camera it looks crazy, but I know in person it doesn't. That's the thing about it. When you're looking at stuff on camera, it looks crazy, but in person it looks good. And then when you go to edit, it's like, okay, it was perfectly fine the whole time, but the camera always makes it look like it's not. Snatch, I will snatch faces sitting, honey, sitting, honey, 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 honey. So now I'm going to start setting everything, setting my under eyes, my entire face. So for that, I'm going to be using my Beauty Bakery Flour Powder, and the shade I use is Out. And also I'm going to be, I just got this powder, and I had this powder before, and I think I went on a trip somewhere and my powder fell out, or I left it, so I had to get it back. So this is the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush powder, and I had got the shade number 2. So that is gonna give me that brightness underneath my eyes. So when I finish setting, then I'm going to go in with this powder to give me the brightness underneath my eye that I need. So let's set before we start creasing. And tap underneath my eyes before I set it, because you don't want to set the creasing underneath your eye. You want to tap that stuff out before you set it, and then go in with your setting powder, and I'm tapping that powder in. Now I'm gonna set everywhere else, my chin, forehead. Baby, these bad boys be creasing. Down the bridge of my nose. Alright, so now let's work on the eyes. Let me finish up the eyes. Blend out this concealer on my eyes because it started creasing. Whatever powders remain back on my brush, I'm just gonna tap over my eyes with it. I really don't want to set it like that. Okay, so for today, I'm going to be using my Makeup Addiction palette. That's what I'm going to go in with. So I'm going to take this shade first as my transition. So now I'm going to pick up that, it almost looks like terracotta shade, and I'm going to start packing that into my crease for my transition shade. So I'm just tapping that into my crease. I'm working that into my brow bone as, excuse me, sorry. I'm going to be working that into my brow bone as well. Just like that, circular motion or windshield wiper, whichever one you like to use best. So as you can see, I'm running that shade into my nose, because when I contour my nose, like set my nose contour, it's going to blend everything seamlessly. So now that I got that color down, I'm going to go into that darker brown shade and start tapping it on my outer V, working it into the crease. I have been loving this color as a transition. Okay, so now that I got that color down, I'm going to set my brow bone, and I'm going to use a translucent powder to set my brow bone. And what would that do? It's going to help further blend the edges out of my transition shade. So I'm going to go back into that same powder that I used to set underneath my eye, which is the Beauty Bakery Flower Powder in Oat. And I'm just picking that up on a fluffy brush, tapping off the excess, and then I'm going to start setting my brow bone. See how the difference compared to this side? So look at this side and look at this side. You see how blended this side looks? You see the difference, how smooth and blended that look. Alright, so now that that's done, I'm going to go back into that brush that I was using to blend and tap out my concealer on my lids, and I'm just gonna refresh it. Nothing on the brush, I'm just tapping it to get the creasing out to go into my lid shade that I'm going to use. So the brush has nothing on it. The excess product that's on the brush, that's all I'm using to tap my lids out. And you see the lids are tapped out. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go into that other Makeup Addiction palette, and I'm going to pick up this shade right here. This pinky shade right here. I'm going to pick that up with my finger. And I'm picking that up with my finger, and I'm going to start tapping it on my lids. You see that? You see that pigment? I know you seen this pigment, baby. Y'all sleeping on this Makeup Addiction palette. Well, let me don't talk, because I was sleeping on it too. I'm going to go back into my brush that I used for my transition, and I'm going to start blending that just like that. And now I'm going, nope, girl, wrong brush. You see how when you have too many brushes sitting in front of you, you see what be happening. I'm going to start tapping, blending that out. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to take my J.Lo pigment, and I'm going to tap over this just in the area that is pink. So it's a get it out. It's a pink pigment, and the name of it is called Girls Trip. So I'm going to take Girls Trip and just tap it over for a little more pop on the lid. So I'm going to tap a little bit in my lid, and I'm going to pick it up with that same brush I used to put the color on my lid with. And I'm just going to start tapping. That is going to give it the sparkle, baby. I don't know if you guys can tell, but I don't think the camera is picking it up. So I'm going to do a little tight line, and for that I'm going to be using the Fenty Beauty, what is this? The Fenty Beauty eyeliner. And I'm just going to tight line a little bit, just so when I put my lashes on, the lash band, it can hide the lash band. And don't mind lines, it's jacked up. It is jacked up, but I'm still using it because I love it. Okay, so I went ahead and did a little wing. One wing going up, one wing going down. Listen, baby, I hate doing wing liners, okay? But listen, we just gonna go with it, because ain't nothing we can do about it right now, okay? And I ain't trying to fix it to ruin my makeup. Not doing that. So what I'm going to do, now I'm going to do my lower lash line. So those same colors that I use in my crease, I am going to use in my lower lash line. So I'm going to start off with the brown, the darker brown first. And I'm going to use that closer to my lash line. Just like that. And then I'm going to take the lighter brown and start blending it out. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Ooh. Besides the liner, the eyes is sitting, okay? It is the face. And we're not even done yet, sis. We're not even done yet. The eye. Okay. She did that. She did that. Okay, let's finish up this face. Let's finish up the face. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to use my bronzer, because we got to bring some life back into this face. So I'm going in with my Fenty Beauty bronzer, and this is in Coconutty. I don't know why I keep looking at the thing like I don't know what bronzer I use. I use this bronzer every time. Every time. I'm just tapping the bronzer on my face. I'm not rubbing or swiping. I'm just oh, girl. What is that? I hear. I know I'm feeling a hair on my face. So yeah, I'm just tapping that bronzer on. I know I forgot to do something. I forgot to do cream blush. That's okay. Just tapping that bronzer in. I'm going to go into my blush, and you guys know I've been loving the Jaclyn Hill blushes. So I have the Rouge Romance blush blushes. So I actually won this PR package in one of her competition that she hosts on, you know how they be doing the little Instagram competitions, and I actually was one of the people that won the PR package. That PR package in the back there, I was one of the people that won that PR package. I was shocked. I was shocked because I did enter and I was like, you know what? Maybe I have a chance or maybe not. I'm like, I'm not gonna win. The next day, honey, I woke up and it was what? My son, I was planning my son's, no, I was planning my daughter's graduation party. And the next day I woke up, I saw I have a message. So I went and opened the message and it said, I won. I was like, I was shocked. I was shocked. I ain't gonna lie to you. I was shocked. So yeah, so that's what I've been using the whole time. Her cream blush, can I talk today? Her cream blushes and her powder blushes. Well, you know, I won the whole PR kit. So it has like the lips and everything. So I'm going to be, what color should I use? Should I use Ever After? Let me use Ever After. And baby, a little bit of this goes a long way. Tap off that excess. You see? You see the pigment. Alright, so now I'm going to do my lips. And for lips, I'm taking the Bella & Co lip liner. And I'm going to line my lips. Alright, so the lips are lined, and I'm going to go into this pinky lipstick from Fenty. I never even use this shade. So now I'm going to go into Fenty Beauty Lip Gloss, as this is in Fussy. Alright, so I'm gonna put my lashes off camera and change, and I'll be right back. So I'm back. I did went ahead and put on my lashes, and for lashes today I did use my TaylorMade Jade lashes. So I would have that name listed in the description box because it has no name on the lashes and I can't remember it off the top of my head. So this is the completed look, you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. And I'll definitely catch you guys in the next one. Bye, you guys.